The Water Resources Institute was founded in 1999 as an interdisciplinary center dedicated to the education, research, and policy analysis between the university and the communities we serve in Southern California. Each year, the WRI honors one person with its Water Hero Award, which recognizes someone that had a profound impact on the local water community. Funds raised in this effort support the management of the archives. This year, we're proud to honor Ralph Wagner for his contributions to Lake Arrowhead. Ralph Wagner was born in 1929 and grew up in Los Angeles. In his early teens, and a bit of a handful for his single mother, he was sent to the now-defunct Elsinore Naval and Military School, where he lettered in football, baseball, and basketball, and was a cadet commander.
It saved me. I loved it. And I learned how to really work with people.
He graduated in 1948 and headed to Rice University in Houston, Texas, to study electrical engineering via the Naval ROTC program. After 2 years, he decided that he was much more interested in water and transferred to Stanford University, where he completed his civil engineering degree. His first glimpse of Lake Arrowhead in the San Bernardino Mountains was in 1964, although it was almost a decade before he bought a house there. Over the years as a consulting engineer, Ralph has worked on dozens of projects, including designing sewage treatment plants in Palm Springs, Beaumont, Ojai, Poway, and Carlsbad. In 1968, he put his experience and skills to use in the Magic Kingdom, where he introduced the concept of recycling the vast amounts of water the park used. He also worked on the hydraulic issues with the Pirates of the Caribbean ride and the Jungle Cruise ride, making the water look brown and muddy like a real river, but without the odor. In 1972, Ralph made Lake Arrowhead his vacation home. In 1979, he met and married a longtime resident of Lake Arrowhead.
He just lived about 10 houses away from where I lived. In fact, first big winter we had, my youngest daughter had a new Honda Civic. So we're tootling up John Muir Road, and he and Rick are shoveling off his son's van, right, all the snow in the middle of the street. We stopped, I rolled down the window, and I gave them a talking to.
Ralph and Ionita married in 1979. Each had grown children from previous marriages, he a son, Rick, and daughter Shelley, and she 3 daughters, Suzanne, Linda, and Peggy. In the nearly 40 years since he moved to the mountains, Ralph has made a lasting mark on the community.
He's involved in everything of value at Lake Arrowhead.
Ralph's service to the community began almost as soon as he moved to town, when Lake Arrowhead was facing a formidable decision. In the aftermath of the Sylmar quake of 1971, the state began investigating the safety of pre-existing earthen dams.
Because the state said, unless you construct a new dam, we're going to require that you lower the lake level in Lake Arrowhead, the water level in Lake Arrowhead 70 feet, which would have destroyed commerce, would have destroyed the tourist industry, would have destroyed the residential community that was already there, and therefore a new dam had to be constructed.
The owners of the lake, the dam, and many of the surrounding properties agreed to transfer title of them to a community corporation that would be responsible for issuing bonds and building a new dam. Arrowhead Lake Association was born. In 1975, Ralph was the first president of the Arrowhead Lake Association elected by the property owners. The $7 million bond issue passed in 1976, and the new dam was completed in 1977. Ralph remained association president for 3 years. He's continued to serve on the board since then and is currently serving his final term. The Arrowhead Lake Association oversees recreational facilities on and around the lake and monitors the water quality in the private lake, which also serves all the domestic water supply for its surrounding homes, called Arrowhead Woods. As part of the purchase of the lake, Arrowhead Lake Association had first right of refusal to buy the Arrowhead Utility Company, which had historically been owned by whomever owned the lake. The association had neither the money nor the expertise to run a domestic water company. Ralph led the effort in 1978 to form the Lake Arrowhead Community Services District to provide water to the Arrowhead Woods area and sewer service for an area that encompasses the basin, including Rim Forest, Blue Jay, and Twin Peaks. He was the district's first president and still serves on the board.
in the real sense, the physical sense, Ralph is the one who controls the floodgates of the lake. The lake level is basically at his beck and call.
By 1991, with the state in the throes of a 5-year drought, the level of Lake Arrowhead had dropped 13 feet. Ralph conceived of using recycled wastewater to bring the levels back up to normal, an idea before its time.
We demonstrated very clearly at a pilot scale, 25 gallons per minute, that we could indeed produce indirect potable reuse water from wastewater of a quality greater in every respect of that natural water in Lake Arrowhead. So we demonstrated that it could be done. It has not yet been done, however, but that's simply because one has to overcome mindset and perception.
He believes it will eventually be accepted, much as conservation measures have become more popular as people's awareness about their water supply increases.
And he's always had that cognizant, that focus, that visionary outlook towards the future of types of programs that need to be instilled in order to conserve that precious resource. When I was starting at age around 6, he actually instilled and implemented a program in our household in which we could only take 5-minute showers, and all watering had to be done by hand, which took hours. However, it turned out the only person in our family to be compliant was me. My sister usually avoided it by taking a shower when my dad wasn't home, and my mother opted out by taking a bath. But my father, as the servant leader he was, always complied with it. In fact, could take a shower in less than 2 minutes, which to this day amazes me.
Today, Lake Arrowhead is high mainly due to rainfall and conservation efforts, but lake levels were once a controversial topic in the community. In 2005, the Arrowhead Lake Association and the Lake Arrowhead Community Services District resolved a long-standing dispute over water rights and water use.
Ralph and I have worked on many projects together. I would say that our most important project was the water rights and Lake Arrowhead.
Well, I think there was substantial division within the community over the issue, but I think people realized ultimately that the importance of the lake level to sustaining property values and maintaining recreation and businesses in the community was paramount.
Ralph's passion for the lake includes keeping voluminous records.
The first time that I really got a sense of how engaged he was with the lake in our local areas is a question was asked about rainfall, and did we have any records for a few years back? And so I called up Ralph and I said, well, Mr. Wagner, I need to get some rainfall data if you happen to have any. I said, like for 10 years back or something like that, which for us was a big deal. And he said, well, I have monthly rainfall data for the last 102 years. How would that be? I said, that would probably be more than sufficient. And at that point, I realized that he was a resource for us that we had to develop. That it was, he had historical data, he had design data of the dam, he had quite a few things we needed to understand our reservoir and our resource. He has collected data that will be the basis of our better understanding this lake in many, many years to come.
I've definitely found him to be a great resource in terms of why things are the way they are and how they've been done in the past, good or bad, and he's definitely, like I say, a great historian and a great asset about how we got where we are.
In 2009, Ralph collected his information about Lake Arrowhead into a book.
I have worked with Ralph on another project, and that was helping him publish his very first book. And this is the book, and he took all the stories that he wrote in On the Mountain, plus a few more, and he put them in this book. And this is now sold all over the place on the mountain. It's very popular. People, like concierge in the hotel, they love it because when travelers or people come and they ask anything about the lake, they just say, here's the perfect book. And they share Ralph's book, so it's very popular.
Whether it is as a board member on the various boards on which he's served over the years, or as a community volunteer, colleagues and friends laud Ralph's informal style, his desire to get the job done, and his tenacity in doing so.
Like a pit bull when he gets on a project. He will not let go until it's finished and finished right.
As the Water Resources Institute pays tribute to Ralph Wagner for his work in Lake Arrowhead, so too do those people who have worked with him over the years.
Ralph Wagner is a water hero because he has been willing to do the work, collect the information, and understand our local resource. I'm a beneficiary of that. My granddaughter's a beneficiary of that, and her children will be a beneficiary of the work he's done.
Nancy and I want to say that you are Mr. Lake Arrowhead in our view, and you are top-notch in my view as far as Lake Arrowhead water goes. And congratulations on this award, and we wish you continued success and never lose your interest in Lake Arrowhead.
Ralph, I can honestly say that I am a better person for having known you, and congratulations on this award. You definitely deserve it for all the time you've committed to this project. Thank you.
I'd love to pay tribute to my father, to honor him, and to thank God for his incredible many years of serving others in the community.
I think he's done more for the mountains, for the community of Lake Arrowhead, and for the lake itself in terms of water management, in terms of allocation of the resources, in terms of making a balance between recreational use and use of the water for the community needs, more so than any other person on the mountain. And so he's #1 in my book for that purpose.
Ralph, congratulations on this award. It is a richly deserved award. The citizens of Lake Arrowhead and the surrounding mountain communities have been enriched by your knowledge, your experience, and the pride you take in keeping Lake Arrowhead the pristine environment it is. And again, thank you very much. This award is richly deserved.